Welcome to a very special edition of the Three Down Nation podcast. I'm joined today by Bryce Perkins, Super Bowl winner, UFL MVP, and new quarterback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Bryce, thanks for joining us today.
Man, a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.
First things first, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you guys from Phoenix, Arizona. Um, Warmer states. It's about 60 and sunny right now in the winter time, so just enjoying the sun right now.
I'm pretty sure in Winnipeg right now, where I live, it's about minus 25 Fahrenheit in and around there.
Mm,
So fortunately for you, it'll be a lot warmer by the time the season rolls around. First off, how does it feel to be under contract with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
it feels good, man. I'm super excited to be able to get a chance to continue to play and for such a great organization, great fan base, and you know, being able to have success and in different places that I've been to, and to be able to, at the ripe age of 28, continue to still play. It's amazing. I'm truly honored and privileged and excited to get rolled in.
Let's dial it back a bit to your NFL days. You spent 3 seasons with the LA Rams, which I think is especially significant considering guys like Sean McVay, Matt Stafford. As a
Mhm.
quarterback, those are some of the best people in the world to learn from. And obviously, again, you won a Super Bowl with the Rams during that time. I'm curious, what did you learn with LA and how did that shape you into the quarterback you are today?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it is coming from college. Not necessarily in a pro style offense or understanding, how to better put yourself in position to be successful on the field. So a lot of it in my time with LA was learning how to prepare, learning how to be a pro, learning how to communicate, um, with guys differently that may click to some other people in a certain way, right? And so much of it is being able to at best put yourself in position pre-snap to be able to have success post-snap, right? And learning how to study, how to prepare from Matthew Stafford, who's been doing it for so long. Definitely has helped me, after my time in LA when I went to the UFL, and even now today, even how I see the game, how I approach the game, is definitely was an honor and a privilege to be able to witness that.
You were talking about at the ripe age of 28, a guy like Matt Stafford's been doing it forever, right? I
Hmm.
mean, that guy is, I mean, what? I think he's 37. So,
Yeah, I think
I'm
37.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd love to play that long. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Mhm.
You mentioned the pro style offense versus what you did at the University of Virginia. And for our listeners, for our viewers, you rushed for over 2,000 yards, 24 touchdowns over 36 collegiate starts, first at Arizona Western, then 2 seasons at Virginia where you were a standout. Can you tell me what the different kind of styles of offenses you've played in and maybe what you're expecting to see in the Canadian Football League from at least what you've seen on film so far?
Yeah. And in college, very, very much, spread offense in the gun most of the time. We were, fast paced, on the ball, quick huddle. A lot of guys in college kind of have that similar type of play style. And then, going to the league, a lot more under center things, a lot more checks at the line, being able to still be in a spread type of offense, West Coast offense, but a lot more nuances within the system, right? The run, the pass, the play action, they all marry together. Being able to exploit, what the defense is doing, and with that comes with understanding of why are we doing this play versus this, right? And it's like, yo, we're drawing this play up because we're thinking we get this, but here are our answers for this and that. So that takes another level of study, another level of execution on your part, which you have to grow into if you're not, kind of in that system or familiarized with it. But did have a chance to watch a few games. I've been watching a few CFL games on the iPad. From my understanding that there's a new offensive coordinator that's going to be coming in for Winnipeg. But being able to watch the nuances, the twelve people on the field, the waggle motion is different, but um, once the looks kind of start um, being able to correlate in my mind versus say, okay, this is basically this is that, this is this, things will start picking up, and it's kind of slowly started already, but I expect a fast pace, man. I expect a fast paced offense. That waggle motion is definitely a hard time for defenders to match and cover. So, a lot of guys, breaking free, a lot of fast pace on the ball type of things, and as the quarterback's job, my job is just kind of, get the guys the ball, give them a chance, and find the open space and find the open guy.
For a high level QB like yourself, a lot of teams will claim a guy's rights, in some cases, 2, 3, even 4 seasons in advance. I'm curious, when did you and your agent learn that Winnipeg held your rights? And can you take us through the journey of maybe, deciding, obviously you went UFL previously, like what made you come to the CFL now? What was that timeline like?
Yeah, so I got a opportunity to sign with the Carolina Panthers down here in late August. I was there for the last preseason game. After that, they ultimately let me go, and then maybe around 2 weeks later, um, you know, they reached out to me and kind of just, hey, we're interested, we love your tape and, everything like that. And would you be interested? And at the time, I was like, okay, thank you for reaching out. It was kind of still early after I got let go, so I was still trying to kind of wait. And then after, a couple, weeks and a month went by, um, started to kind of, research a little more, know a couple guys, started following a little bit more. Chris Streveler, I trained with him in the offseason this past season, so was able to kind of see what was going on, this season for Winnipeg, and see how much passion it was, and started getting a little more, open to the idea of, man, like, that's what you love about football, right? It's the people you're with, and it's the community that you play for. And after seeing so many of sold out games that Winnipeg has had, um, you know, after a month of not getting signed, was a real opportunity. I think I told myself, like, if I don't get a shot in the NFL, I probably won't go back to the UFL. And where would I be, and try to continue my career at a high level with high level talent, at a competitive level, at a pro level. And the CFL, in my head was the right choice. So
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because that's something I know from American players is they've all played, whether it's collegiately or at the NFL, with guys who ended up in the CFL. Like I was looking at your Virginia roster, you had a couple of Canadian receivers right
Mhm.
there with you on offense, and guys like Dejon Brissett, who's had a really nice career at the Toronto Argonauts, Terrell Jana, but you also had guys on the defensive side of the ball who've played CFL. So whether it's Streveler or them, who are some of the other players who are maybe influential in having you decide for the CFL over going back to the UFL for another stint?
Yeah, I mean, they played with Noah Taylor. He has Edmonton. Played with Elliott Brown. I think he's with Edmonton too.
Yep.
Um, and train with a number of guys. And Wesley Son went to high school with him. He's in Montreal playing corner or safety, one of the two. But um, you know, Strev, man, he was like, man, you're gonna love it, man, down there. And my father played as well. My father played in Hamilton. Um, with Coach Mike, and they were both rookies together. He told me back in the day. So, I was talked to my dad too as well when the opportunity came up. Kind of asked him what he thought about it, and he was like, "Man, he's like, it's good ball, man. It's fun. It's a different game, but they love their football down there, man. And when you think about playing, man, that's what you want to play for. So, I love the UFL and what they're doing, giving guys opportunities to play, kind of just in my situation of being a vested vet, being almost 29, kind of just a little different situation than a lot of the other guys in the UFL that kind of get shots. So I was, basically at the end of kind of waiting for the NFL shot, want to continue to play my career and make a career, and there was a lot of change in the UFL. Michigan Panthers, at a team I played for, left, the coaches left, the GM left. So, wanted to have a little more stability and continue to play, at a high level.
So it seems like what you're illustrating is the UFL, you might see that as the best route back to the NFL, but the CFL is maybe the better route to have like a long tenured career still at the pro level.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that uh, with the CFL being around longer, it gives guys, opportunities, it give American guys opportunities to continue to play, continue to be around, that brotherhood, continue to play for a great city, and play at a high level and do what they love for as long as they can. And that's what you play the game for. I mean, playing this game for so long, and so many guys don't get the opportunity to play, in any league, right? And I feel anybody, if you got the passion and you can still play, man, and it's still in you, you play until you can't. And body wise, mind wise, I feel like kind of in my prime and continue to play, at the pro level. Uh, in Canada is something that I'm looking forward to. I'm excited about it.
You mentioned your relationship with Strev. Now, Strev started games in the CFL, but one of his roles is a role that I don't know if I'd say is unique to the CFL, but is certainly prominent in the CFL, and that is the short yardage quarterback. Not necessarily just short yardage, but a guy who comes in often cases near the goal line, different packages. Some of it is read option based, some of it is a little bit of RPO based. But I'm curious if that's something the Bombers have talked to you about thus far. I know you mentioned that there's some uncertainty at offensive coordinator, but given your size, given your athleticism, I read online you ran a 4.65 coming out of school. Feel free to deny or confirm that. I don't know what you ran exactly, but how big of an impact do you think you could make immediately, potentially, for the Bombers in 2026 as someone who fills that Streveler type of role?
Yeah. I mean, 4.65. I didn't run. I wonder who's spreading this information. I mean, nah, I didn't run a 40. I didn't get to run. It was during COVID when I came out, so I never got to run. I would assume maybe like a four. A 4.5, 4.4 high.
Okay.
But no, they necessarily not necessarily talk to me about it. I think when you come in, especially first year one, learning the system, learning the offense, learning the different type of play style, but you're honored to kind of whatever the role is asked for you figure it out how to do the best you can to be able to help the team success, right? It's everybody has personal goals, everybody has things that they want to do, but to be able to do that en route of doing that, being able to do whatever it takes to be, um, part of a winning formula is a blessing. So we haven't talked yet about it necessarily, but definitely, willing to do whatever I can while still learning and while still, getting my feet wet and understanding the nuances of the game.
I always look up newcomers to Winnipeg and most of the CFL for what they tested. You didn't have a time on your draft scout page, so I don't remember honestly where I saw that number, but that's where I wanted to give you the chance to confirm or deny. I know 2020 was a weird time, right? Spring of
Yeah,
2020
it
for
definitely
guys coming
was.
out, very weird time. Do you know how long you've signed for in Winnipeg? Is it a 2-year deal, 3-year deal?
Yeah, I signed a 2-year deal.
2-year deal. All right. So I wanted to ask because obviously, as you mentioned, you're not coming up right as a 23-year-old, like right out of college. You're a guy who's a vested veteran in the NFL. What is the timeline for you? Obviously, you want to get your feet wet learning the game, but is your goal to be a starter in this league by, is it 2027? Is it 2028? Like what is your long-term outlook as a CFL quarterback in terms of the goals that you're setting for yourself?
Yeah, man, I want to continue to play at a high level, and learn and build my way up into a starting role. I think that I have a lot of ball ahead of me, and I feel like I can make a great career in the CFL, and be a prominent starter and help the team to reach um, places that it wants to go. And as far as timeline, who knows? I mean, you would love to say it's going to happen here, it's going to happen there, but I want to be able to do what I can, um, what's asked, and then continue to build on my strengths, and when my time is called, just be ready. One of the things I've learned playing is how quickly your time, is called upon, and you can have all these plans on, what it's going to look like when you want to get in there, but you never know when it's going to happen, but you have to be ready when it's called upon. So that's kind of my goal is, learn as much as I can when I can, and when my number's called, go in there and try to do the best I can.
Last one, Zach Collaros, who's obviously franchise quarterback in Winnipeg, 37 years old. So clearly, towards the back end of his career relative to the start of his career. But one thing about Zach, and Drew Brown has talked about this, some other quarterbacks who have played alongside Zach, is he's very much an open book. He's almost like an extra coach. He's not the old Brett Favre where it's like, hey, youngin, like stay away from me. He's the guy will take other quarterbacks under his wing. So I'm curious if you've had any communication with Zach so far, and whether or not you have. I'm curious for how you're hoping to maybe pick his brain come the start of whether it's rookie camp, training camp, whenever you two are able to connect.
Yeah. No, haven't yet, but definitely looking forward to it. I was speaking with him, seeing how he sees the game, and being a sponge. I think that quality to have is such a great one to have, because understanding that we're all trying, and we're all a receiver of someone giving knowledge to us, right? Someone older than me give knowledge to me when I was kind of going in the NFL, and I hope to be that one day for somebody else younger. And I think the greatest thing you can do as a player and as a person is to pass down the knowledge and the wisdom that you've gained. So I'm super excited. He's been a baller, and to win, man, it's hard. To win and to go to the Grey Cup 5 years, in a row. That's something that is definitely admirable, and to be able to figure out some of the things that he's done to help him be successful is amazing. So not yet, but definitely look forward to it.
Well, thank you very much for doing this, Bryce. I'm sure our listeners, viewers are really excited to see what you bring to the team in 2026 and to the CFL. This is a quarterback-driven league. I think the NFL could be considered a quarterback-driven league as well, especially with just the way professional football is trending. So the more exciting, young, innovative, athletic quarterbacks we have, the better. So I wish you all the best, and we look forward to seeing you in person in Winnipeg come the late spring.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me, and excited to be there.